Remember this BS?
What I'd like to see, Canada become our 51st state.
No. Well, I still believe that, but you know, as a state, it would be one of the great states anyway. This would be the most incredible.
So when I say they should be a state, I mean that. I really mean that, because
Canada becoming America's 51st state, the annexation of Greenland, and the on and off, up and down, tariff war against Canada. When I heard the orange idiot saying for the first time that Canada should become the 51st state of the US, I think it was around February, I thought I'm having a very bad orange dream or something. But then it popped up again and again. Oh boy, I was pissed, and I was not the only one. People spontaneously stopped buying American products whenever possible, and slowly also stopped traveling into the US. First, it was just because we could not stomach the thought to support such a blatant arrogancy. But then, especially when the Gangster Fascist started to harm our economy with his trade war, we Canadians realized the immense power we have. Next thing, the media started to talk about it. And that motivated more Canadians to join the boycott.
We've seen a drop in our states of between 20 and 60%. 20 and 60% drop in Canadian tourism in our states alone. And we're only in June. So that's really devastating. I also know that Canadian flights, people into and out of Boston from Canada, are also down. We've heard the stories about Florida. This is a serious issue for us. And
July and August are high season for tourism in Washington, D.C., when tour guides like Catherine bank the bulk of their yearly income.
Les Asiatiques, donc les Vietnamiens, il y avait un peu.
She caters to a niche clientele, tourists mainly from Canada, France, and Germany.
I have a team of 5 people working with me or for me, and it's even sometimes 3 or 4 tours at the same time during the summer, a normal summer.
But this summer, she says, is anything but normal. Business has cratered, down 85% since Donald Trump resumed office. Inquiries from Canadians have all but dried up, she says, since the president repeatedly suggested the country become the 51st U.S. state.
Ce sera plus facile pour moi de vous parler de
and foreign tourists. The number of non-U.S. citizen air passenger arrivals was down 9.7% in March compared to the previous year. That's according to data from the International Trade Administration.
Much of that driven by Canadians who have pulled back significantly on their travel. It's a huge economic loss for the country.
But that was just the beginning. And the travel US boycott grew steady. And because Canadian interest is spending time and money in the US declined so drastically, that forced airlines to cancel flights into the US and offer alternative destinations.
Same time, travel to the United States has fallen sharply this year.
We have seen some decline in demand to the U.S., and as a result, we've redeployed some of our capacity into domestic markets across the Atlantic and into Latin Caribbean destinations. We've seen that demand situation stabilize, but it's hard to say how it's going to develop going forward. But we have a lot of confidence in the destinations that we're offering today.
Panama City, Panama, Guadalajara and Tepic in Mexico, Havana, Cuba, and Managua, Nicaragua to the company's list of destinations. The airline has also bumped up its Mexico City service to a year-round schedule. It is also adding 7 new routes, including direct flights from Calgary to both Cozumel, Mexico, and Puerto Plata in the Dominican Republic.
New numbers from Statistics Canada show return trips from the U.S. in May dropped 32% compared to last year. This is the U.S. departures area of Montreal's Trudeau Airport, which is particularly quiet at the height of summer, and one of the most visible signs Canadians are staying away.
I think the most consistent thing is that the Canadians have not forgiven Mr. Trump.
And despite voices coming from the disaster administration in the White House pretending nothing is happening, in the US economy everything is going strong. The reality is completely different.
We created an atmosphere that's very hostile for us.
With everything going on south of the border, it just seemed to be a lot safer to just travel within Canada.
Even the top tourist destinations in the US seeing a dramatic reduction in Canadian visitors and the money that usually comes with it.
Holiday weekend, nice weather. A lot of business owners thought Fisherman's Wharf and other hotspots would be filled with customers, but they say that is simply not the case. They blame politics. Hop on, hop off. Those big red double-deckers are hard to miss in San Francisco. What's missing? International tourists.
Today, we've seen a total of 7 foreign tourists. Can you believe that? Just 7 people.
Sam Sohal, CEO of City Sightseeing, says most riders these days are domestic visitors.
Here so far, it's about 35% down. What was really shocking was June and this few days of July. The bottom has fallen, basically. We're 50% down. We're a little bit worried.
The US government tries to ignore it, but here are the facts.
Well, today, U.S. Senator Chuck Schumer put out some data from U.S. Customs and Border Protection showing 400,000 fewer travelers crossing into our country by car in May 2025 compared to 2024. It's a 25% decline. The Peace Bridge alone saw a more than 22% drop. Rainbow Bridge travel went down nearly 29%.
The number of non-U.S. citizen air passenger arrivals was down 9.7% in March compared to the previous year. That's according to data from the International Trade Administration.
Which we're surprised at because the U.S. is the biggest travel and tourism market in the world.
A study done by the WTTC and Oxford Economics forecasts the United States will be the only country with a decline in international visitor spending this year.
Tourism across the United States is slipping, and the economical hit is already significant. The US is doomed to lose around $12.5 billion, with visitor spending down more than 22% compared to last year. And experts warn this downward slide could deepen even further. Local business owners seeing the change firsthand. This summer, many have noticed a sharp drop in tourism traffic. Shops and restaurants that rely on steady stream of visitors say the difference between now and the past season is hard to miss. New York City highlights just how serious the situation has become. Officials expect about 2 million fewer international travelers this year alone, which could mean a $4 billion loss in spending on hotels, dining and tours. On a national scale, the US stands out as the only one among 184 major economies predicted to see a decline in foreign tourism, with projected losses topping $12.5 billion. Key markets are shrinking too. Visitors from Germany have dropped by 28%, while arrivals from the UK and South Korea are both down about 15%. A retraction in visitor numbers has a very broad impact on the local economy.
We're looking at lost jobs as servers and staff get laid off because they're not bringing in what they did. That kind of thing hurts a lot. You talk to suppliers. I convene.
The crazy White House of the Orange Idiots Disaster Administration can deny the impact our travel and American goods boycott has on their economy. But do you really think, without feeling the pain in their wallet, they would go through so much effort to get us back?
Kaler says Buffalo misses our Canadian neighbors. For Buffalo, we really see them as our friends. They're part of our overall family. We love having Canadians come across.
Visit Buffalo Niagara is working on ways to entice them back.
We're putting up some billboards of Buffalo Loves Canada. We're looking at the possibility of doing some advertising with Expedia that actually will target Canadians who are looking at the United States as a travel option.
In Niagara Falls Tuesday, workers on Old Falls Street told me they too noticed the decrease in Canadian tourists.
What cracks me up, though, is how tone-deaf those American lawmakers, but also tourism professionals are.
U.S. lawmakers in border states are trying to lure their northern neighbors back. Like in Vermont, which temporarily renamed Church Street to Canada Street.
What's happening on the federal level does not speak for Vermont.
But comments like this one are unlikely to help.
There are reasons why the president and some of his team refer to Canada as being mean and nasty to deal with.
We're still open for business. Remember, we're your friends, we're your neighbors. We have such close cultural and familial ties with the Canadians here in the Northeast, and we wanted to do everything that we could to cement that, but that's a big problem. Tourism is a huge problem economically.
It is hilarious. On one hand, they say, oh, nothing to see here. Canadian boycott? What boycott? And then, oh no, it's just the bad weather we had this summer. Or the airlines had specials on alternative destinations. And, they come up with all kinds of excuses. But that's all BS. But let's be honest here. There is one major reason for this disaster in U.S. tourism. Just take a listen.
And, it's real. The feeling on the part of Canadians, that took tremendous offense, of course, to being labeled the 51st state by our president, are making decisions to spend their tourism dollars elsewhere. So
the tariffs and also the immigration policies trying to scrutinize everybody, even tourists. They go to their embassy to get a tourist visa.
They say that's part of the reason.
Had Trump never been elected, we Canadians would likely still bring our vacation money to the US, crossing the border to go shopping or spend a weekend in Seattle. Businesses wouldn't see red numbers while trying to point the finger at all kinds of obscure reasons for the low season, instead of addressing the real cause. The orange idiots in the White House. So let's stop talking in circles. We know exactly why we stay away from your country and your tourism is struggling. Stop patronizing us by begging us to come back and bring you our money. Because let's be honest, you don't give a shit about us. All you want is our money. You want us to save your business, period. So stop treating us as if we were stupid. We have a reason why we're boycotting you.
This is unheard of, whatever is happening, so support your own country.
And to some, that support means a staycation.
So Americans, instead of crying crocodile tears on Canadian TV, talk to your gangster fascist in the White House. Changes have to come from them, not from us. And to my fellow Canadians, I would like to say, our boycott on travel and American goods works. It is a huge impact, much bigger than any American has ever expected. Because they all thought we would just roll over, give in and take the burden. But no, we don't. And that is why you hear and see the numbers. The numbers are demonstrating clearly the devastating situation the US travel industry is in. The shop owners, tour guides, and restaurant staff don't lie. They are the ones who feel the absence of Canadian visitors directly. They suffer. And of course, many know that the guy in the White House doesn't give a crap about them. They come to us. brush off the situation we are in and telling us Canadians to forget our hurt feelings. Just put on a smile and drive down there to spend our money. So yes, we Canadians have superpower. It is the wallet we keep in our pocket and make sure it stays there. Travel anywhere but to the US. Buy anything but American. So please tell me in the comments below, how did you spend your summer? Did you travel within Canada? Or just stayed at home and took the kids to local destinations? Because your example does inspire others to join the resistance. And we read every thought and story you share. For more real news, facts and viewpoints to counterbalance the demagogy of the right-wing media, please like and subscribe. It goes a long way to help the channel. Till next time, I'm Wilfried Lemkuler with Europe Curious.
You by our side, and we spent so many nights thinking how you did us wrong. Now we've banded all together. Your tariff made us strong, and so you know you're not so great. There's not a snowball's chance in hell will be your 51st state. You really need our resources for more than we need you, so now just go. Walk out the door. We do not need you. You're not welcome anymore. Weren't you the one who instigated these trade fights? You'll soon grow to regret it when we turn off your lights. We will survive. As long as we can think and what we know will stay alive. We have all we really need. We can live without your greed. We will survive. We will survive. There's been a change. It's time to know. We're not that fledgling little country stealing all of you. We are now a nation proud that is happy to be free. You didn't realize you gave us our own identity, so now just go. We will survive. As long as we can think and what we know and stay alive. Yeah, but all we really need, we can live without your greed. We will survive. We will survive. We will survive.
51st state, my fucking ass. Go on, Canada.